Good morning, everyone. Outside, it's generally clear. Titan radar not showing any activity, and it does look as if we may have seen marine zones also lose the tropical storm warnings in play. I'm not seeing the polygons here. The only warnings we see are the local flood warnings along local rivers like the Ocklawahnee and areas along the Apalachicola for good reason. The heavy rain has no doubt helped to increase the water levels there somewhat. For the first alert 4-to-go forecast, we'll stay in the mid to upper 70s, lower 80s by 10 o'clock.
Right now on Sunrise, Hurricane Michael has rolled through, and now we are left with the debris and damage. I'm Jada Williams, live in Tallahassee, and coming up, we'll have a look at some of the things that are blocking the roads.
Hurricane Michael is the worst storm that the Florida Panhandle has ever seen.
Michael downgrades to a tropical storm, but not before devastating most of the Florida Panhandle and the Big Bend. Now we begin the road to recovery.
Already on the ground tackling the downed trees and power lines. State and local officials, though, still asking that you stay inside.
Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27 Sunrise.
Hurricane Michael now downgraded to a tropical storm, but not before it brought widespread devastation through strong winds, rains, even flooding.
Just watching that video takes your breath away. The storm is responsible for thousands of power outages, several road closures, 2 deaths in our area. The storm made landfall along the Florida Panhandle as a powerful Category 4, the first of its kind to hit our area in recorded history.
And new overnight, officials in Seminole County confirm an 11-year-old child has died as the result of this storm. According to officials, the 11-year-old girl, we've learned, died after a carport was picked up by the wind, crashed through the roof of her home, and then hit her on the head. Crews
were able to get to her around 2 o'clock this morning. Over to Gadsden County, a Greensboro man was killed by a fallen tree. Officials at the Gadsden County Sheriff's Office say they received that call around 6 o'clock Wednesday night. Reports say a tree crashed through the roof of the man's home, trapped him inside. Officials have not confirmed the man's name.
Many of you are watching us from our live stream, WTXL.tv/live. And here is a look at the latest power outage numbers from both Talcott Electric and the city of Tallahassee this morning. If your service is off for a significant amount of time, you may be under a boil water advisory after service is restored and until tests are completed to ensure the water is safe to drink. All right, all morning long, our First Alert weather team is keeping you up to date with the latest information as Michael weakens throughout the day.
Yes, we have team coverage from First Alert meteorologist Alex Cordero and First Alert meteorologist Jennifer Myers. Let's start with Alex Cordero. What can you tell us?
Well, before we get to the local forecast, I just have to mention the numbers. You got 6 figures in terms of the power loss over in Tallahassee. That's got to be comparable to Hermine. I don't know the exact numbers there, but maybe worse in terms of the overall power outage. For now, note that there's no rain, and eventually the skies will clear, and we'll get cooler air tonight. I'll have more details on that. First, an update with Jenny talking more about the actual tropics, specifically, of course, Tropical Storm Michael. How's it looking?
Well, Alex, now that the storm continues to push away from our region, we are starting to see some of those rain totals come on through. And I've looked at some of the numbers, and we're seeing anything from 2.5 to even 6 inches for some regions. The highest rain totals, of course, are where the center of the storm was able to pass over. So in our extreme western communities, as you see, tropical storm warnings for our region, including the one that was sitting over as it continues to push more over land. It will still be dropping in strength right now. Those sustained winds only at about 50 miles an hour. So it is continuing to weaken overhead.
Many of you watching on our live stream right now, I'm just going to keep it real with you. There is way too many obstructions on the road, debris on the road, water on the road to tell you about. So I'm just going to let you know there is a vehicle crash being reported in Gadsden County this morning, US 27. That's in Havana. The southbound lane is blocked. So we aren't experiencing a lot of flooding in our area, but lots of debris, and we will definitely show you that debris here in a little bit. We do have some road closures that we do want to report to you this morning. Malcolm?
Yeah, it's an extensive list of road closures to tell you about right now. Let's get straight to it. We checked overnight. Nearly 100 roads are closed either due to downed trees or power lines. Again, you are urged to not drive at all, certainly not on flooded roads. Treat every power line as if it is live because you simply don't know. From Meridian Road, Woodville Highway to Old Bainbridge and Thomasville roads, we have a full list of closures on our website, WTXL.tv.
Hurricane Michael is the worst storm that the Florida Panhandle has ever seen, and one of the worst power storms to ever make landfall in the United States.
You heard it there. It happened here. Florida's Governor Rick Scott says they are prepared to deploy 1 million gallons of water, food to families impacted by the storm. And Governor Scott says he's requested that President Donald Trump issue a major disaster declaration to allow federal resources to flow quickly into the impacted communities.
We want to get down there as soon as possible. At the same time, I don't want to go down where we're interfering with the people, first responders, the FEMA people. I want them to focus on the storm, not me. So we'll probably look to Sunday or Monday to go down and meet with the governors, meet with everybody, and do what we have to do, like we did in North Carolina, South Carolina, where that worked out really well.
Now that Michael has rolled through, many are left to pick up the pieces.
Our Jada Williams is live for us this morning in Tallahassee. We have seen the damage there. Jada, where are you exactly?
Christine, Malcolm, I'm on Bradford Road in Tallahassee. That's pretty close to Midtown, and it's one of the roads that cuts between North Monroe and Thomasville Road, so between two major roads here in Tallahassee. And one of the biggest things that I'm running into right now, other than some of the damage that you can't really see, is that I'm not getting the best cell service on my cell phone. Now, there are also traffic lights that are out. Stores don't have power. There are a lot of street signs that are out, and also when you're driving, you want to be careful for things like this. You can see that big tree branch right there in the street, and as you continue to look down the street, there's just a ton of smaller branches, bigger branches, and then you get all the way up into this big branch here that is blocking off half of the road. Now here on Bradford Road, it's like that a lot. Every couple of blocks that you drive, there's something blocking one side or the other. There's some barricades up and some cones, but just keep that in mind, especially when it's so dark, that there are a lot of things obstructing your view. And I will check back in the next 30 minutes or so to update you more with what's going on in the roadways. But for now, reporting live in Tallahassee, Jada Williams, WTXL, ABC 27.
And here's proof that crews are already cleaning up the debris. Crews were deployed last night to assess the damage and to begin recovery efforts. Again, state and local leaders are asking you to stay off the roads today as they work to remove these limbs and trees, also fix down power lines, and for your safety, just stay far away from the downed power lines.
Most people might not want to hear the chainsaw sound, but that's a good sound this time around. All right, in Gadsden County, there's still no word on when the countywide curfew will be lifted. You see here in these pictures that Hurricane Michael, just another similar scenes, just a different county, same scene, a different county. That's what I'm trying to say. Down trees, blocked roads. Deputies imposed that countywide curfew for all businesses and neighbors. It began yesterday, 1 in the afternoon. You're urged to stay inside and shelters until further notice. That curfew obviously does not apply to any law enforcement officers, military personnel, or emergency management staff assigned to hurricane disaster duties. Today is a First Alert Weather Day. WTXL is dedicating extra time and resources to our weather coverage and now focusing on getting you through the recovery efforts after Michael.
And here's pictures you post on social media showing local impacts of this monster storm. If you have pictures or video of hurricane damage, share them with us using our hashtag. It's WTXL Tracking Michael. You can also check the hashtag for the latest weather updates.